Wow, the sun is really doing me good this morning. But I wanted to say something real fast before we start with the podcast. I bought this. It's a little microphone and I thought it was going to make my sound better, but I think it's more so for the outside because right now I'm sitting in my car and the sound is much better without the microphone. But you probably know what this video is about since you clicked on it, and I do want to say that for the longest time I wouldn't let myself speak about it simply because I wasn't finished. But I had a realization that you don't have to be fully done with something in order to talk about it, because it is more so about experience and knowledge that I want to share with people and maybe bring more understanding to the topic. So where did it all start for me personally? I was always the largest kid. I was always the biggest kid in class. I was never made fun of though. I was never bullied. I, in fact, always had a pretty large friend group. People liked me for who I am. So the school was never a problem. But I did have one person in my life who, for years, would constantly make fun of me. Every time I was in the kitchen trying to prepare food, they would come in and feel the need to comment on what I eat and, laugh at me or laugh at my weight. And that really pushed me to start eating in secret, air quote. I would eat outside the house so that people at home thought I ate less. And it all started around 9 or 10 when I started questioning my body and thinking that something was wrong with it. And by doing that, I kept seeking comfort in food, that's a pattern a lot of people fall into. I do want to say that I moved to America about 3 years ago, so after I moved here, I gained quite a lot of weight. And then at some point, I think it was my first year of being here, I decided to give a healthy lifestyle a real try. For about a month, I decided to cut out the sweets, sugary drinks. I stuck to what I thought was a really balanced and healthy way of eating, and I would also do cardio. I wasn't lifting weights back then because I know weights give you big muscle. So, and muscle weight's more than fat. So, it made perfect sense in my head. I was like, yeah, I'll do cardio. I should lose something. So, that was as much as as much as my self-control could do back then, and I actually did amazing. But surprisingly, I didn't lose a single pound. I was really hoping to see some progress, but I didn't lose a single pound, which that experience was extremely discouraging and took away pretty much all of my hope of losing weight in a healthy way. So what actually led to my breaking point was definitely us moving to a different state. And it took us about a week of driving. We were always stopping at the gas stations, grabbing a snack. Back then, I really didn't care about the ingredients, so I would take like the sugariest drink, sugariest snack you can only imagine. And we would also stay with family. We would go out to dinners. I was also really bored, so I would always find something to eat. And by the time I got to where I live now, I weighed up myself and I realized that I was 240 pounds at the age of 17 years old. And it is undescribable how scared I was. I was genuinely terrified by what I saw on the scale. I didn't know what to do. I did know one thing is that I can't keep going, and if I keep going, I'll keep gaining weight, and it is not gonna be good. I just could not accept that. So how did it all actually start? For me, things really got going at about December, and I was somewhat air quote done by April. It is also important to say that throughout that whole time I was struggling with alcohol addiction, which did not help to keep my body going at all. And in the first week in a new state, I tried to eat healthy again. In the back of my mind, I knew that it is not gonna help me. And this one night, I didn't last too long. That one night, I ate a pepperoni and cheese pizza. And I felt so much guilt after doing it. I thought to myself, what if I just go and throw up? Back then, I thought I was a genius. I thought I found a cheat code to, fight my problem, but it really wasn't that. And then New Year's came around. I'm Russian, so we go a little insane for New Year's. So after eating and celebrating the entire night, I've gained about 6-7 pounds. And this is when things got real bad. And I feel like I was definitely getting out of control. So there was this one day I had around $30 left in my bank account, and I went to Wingstop, got a 10-piece meal, and then I thought it's not gonna be enough. So I also went to Taco Bell and I got more food. I spent all of my money. I made sure I spent all of my money. I got home and ate my Wingstop, purged, ate half of my Taco Bell, purged, finished my Taco Bell and purged. And it was just a cycle that just kept going the entire day. That's how out of control I got. I really need some sort of trigger warning right now because I'm about to start listing how bad it got after me doing it for a few months. So if this is gonna trigger you, I totally get it. You can skip maybe the next video, maybe not the whole video, but maybe in the next minute of this podcast. So let me get started. How bad it got. My hair started falling out badly. I was passing out, constant headaches, constant stomach ache. One time at work, I remember I bent down to pick up something off the floor, and when I stood up, I started losing my vision and I started losing my hearing. My chest hurt so badly, I thought I was gonna die. What my smartass did is I walked up to the front and I kept working until one of my coworkers asked me if I was okay. I said no, and this was when I stopped doing what I was doing and I just, stepped aside, asked them to help me call my mom. I was trying to keep it together, but as soon as I walked out that door, I thought I'm not gonna see my mom. But she got there, I got in her car and I started crying and telling her how scared I was. And at that moment, I really didn't think I was gonna make it, but I did, and it kept going. This story, this situation did not stop me from what I was doing. And this is the scariest part about this disorder because even when you realize how bad things are, you can't stop. I even got to the point where I would purge after something as small as 2 gummy vitamins because they had, I believe, 40 calories for 2 gummies, which was a serving size. And I think it was around April or March when I struggled to get up. When I would wake up, I would have to lay in bed for about 5-10 minutes just to be able to help myself stand up. And I want to say that I did try therapy. It didn't really work for me. I tried Russian therapy. I found it. There is such a thing as Russian therapy because back then my English was not there. I did not speak English back then. So at the time I didn't stick with it. I do want to do therapy, but unfortunately I cannot afford it right now. What I really wanted to say in that video was that I don't think you win against bulimia. It's always kind of there in the back of your mind. That's why it's called an eating disorder. You don't just get rid of it and never think about it again. What you can't do, though, is learn how to live with it so it does not control you. So I'm really fighting my phone storage over here because it keeps telling me that my storage is full, so after I record like a part of a video I have to go and like delete more videos. That's insane. That's crazy. So right now I want to answer some questions, and maybe seeing my perspective is gonna help you guys or maybe help you understand, which is the whole point of the video. So I want to start off with one thing that helps me when the urge to purge comes back is to stop and ask myself, what do I actually crave? Like, what am I seeking? You know? So if it's something sweet, I would allow myself to have something sweet. And usually, at least for me right now, it doesn't take me that much to actually satisfy what I want. And I just try to, have some small amounts of what I want, just enough to satisfy the craving and make that urge shut the fuck up without letting me like spiral. So I wanted to address a few misconceptions about bulimia, and we're gonna start off strong with it's just about wanting to be skinny. Well, no, it is about control or coping with your emotions or shame, not just weight loss. It is not just about weight loss. And then people with bulimia are always underweight. That's another one that makes me really mad. And many are average weight or even overweight. So it can be invisible to others, but it is a huge one too. Then another one I got is bulimia is only about throwing up. And no, it is not. Purging can be just a part of the entire like huge picture, because many people are over exercising or restricting themselves from eating. They can also use laxatives. So bulimia really isn't just about throwing up. Just like another one I've heard was bulimia only affects younger people. No, this is not true. It affects people all ages, genders, or backgrounds. It does not matter. Bulimia can happen to anybody. Anybody who has an unhealthy relationship with food, no matter who you are. So what I think is the worst misconception about bulimia is that a lot of people see it as a harmless way to cancel out the calories and make it seem like food never happened. And I'm about to list what happens to your body when you have bulimia. And if you find it triggering, I totally get it. That's the most triggering part for me personally. I would assume you skip the next minute of a video because I have to mention it, but you don't have to listen to it, but I would highly recommend that you do. So what it does, it destroys your body from inside out. It fucks with your heart, your stomach, your teeth. It also strains your kidneys. It weakens your bones, and it throws your hormones like completely off the fucking balance. And then there's also a mental side of it, which is depression, anxiety, addiction. It all just piles up. So when people say it doesn't harm you, that's not just wrong. It is dangerous. It is dangerous because bulimia can kill you, and you often don't see the damage until it's already too late. That's why it's not just about looking okay on the outside. On the inside, your body could be failing or falling apart, whichever you like more. So it is getting incredibly hot up in this bitch, okay? Texas has no mercy. It is 9:46. I tried to record as early as I could, but it low-key took me 2 hours because I was extremely nervous and I had to like re-record some parts. Plus my phone is trying to get me fucked up because I have no storage on my phone, like absolute none. But somehow I managed to make it this far. So at the end of this video, what I really do want to say, if you're struggling, please do remember it is hard to do it in a moment, but please remember that you are not alone. Nothing is wrong with you. There are people just like you struggling from the exact same thing, and bulimia can be different for everybody. But talking about it doesn't make you weak. It makes you really, really brave. And I will add like a helpline phone number underneath this video. So if you ever feel like you have an urge, call them. Just try it. I've never done it in my life, but in the future, if I ever do it again, I would call somebody. I would definitely call somebody. If you can afford therapy, please do it. It is gonna help you. It's worth it to find your therapist and find somebody who can give you help. And the more we share, the less power this disorder has over us. That's all I wanted to say in this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I love you, and I will see you next week.